going to be an update for my eyeshadow bingo. So I am actually doing this instead of my eye bank now because I lost all my eye bank information. So we're just doing this rather than both. I'm not going to be talking about my physical palettes because you will see it in my physical palette project. I'm just going to be talking about my singles and the palettes that they are in, because I recently, since the intro, I reorganized, decluttered a lot. So they're now all in a nice colour order and ready for me to bingo. So I will put the photos on the screen because if I try and show you my iPad, it's going to be annoying. But for the first palette, I am currently only working on one shade from the line that I've created. So I've basically picked a row and a column that I want to hit goal on, that are either close or just I feel like it. So I'm currently only working on one shade from it, but I am currently 6 shades away from hitting that, but obviously you'll be seeing it on screen. In fact, I'm gonna save them right after. Also, some of the numbers may be inaccurate, but any that I am working on will be accurate, or that I've hit goal on, sorry, will be accurate. The next palette, I am actually working on 3 shades from this palette, and I have 5 to hit in order to get my line done. Then for my next palette, this one is actually the first one that's like a bit funny because it's like a cross rather than like a, you know, lines like that. And I am currently working on 3 shades and I have 5 that need to be hit. I'm working on just a 10 use goal at the minute. It will go up to 25. If pans happen, pans happen. But I'm not gonna include a pan as it being complete because I don't want to do that. So yeah, once the whole palette has 10, it's gonna stay away until all of the palettes have 10, and then I will do the 25. But I imagine that's gonna be a while. So yeah, I have 5 shades to hit. This one is actually interesting because there's only one shade on the column that I need to hit my usage goal on, and then that column will be done. However, it has no uses presently, but I am working on it. Any with the yellow circles I am working on. The green circles are in my Pan That palette. Blue line means I've hit pan, and then obviously the numbers are the number of uses. I just can't promise how up to date it is. Then for this part, again, it's like a weird little cross. And again, we have one in the column where if I hit that usage goal, then I've hit a whole column. So I'm currently working on 3 shades and there are 4 to hit. So there's only one shade that I have not presently working on as of right now. This palette's a bit different because it's weirdly shaped, but well, it's just like missing it's not like a full palette. Obviously you'll see it. I'm actually only working on 1 shade from this presently, but yeah, there's a lot of use to go on those to actually get any column or row. Then for this palette, I am working on 1, 2, 3 shades presently, and there are just the 3 to hit. So again, I have a shade where, which I actually have on today, it's what's in my inner crease. It's the shade Grayscale from the Be Perfect Gravity palette. Why is it relevant? Oh, because like, why is that relevant? So once I hit that goal, I will have a whole column blocked off, and then I only have 2 to hit the row. Then for this palette, this one looks like a T. How cute. I'm working on 2 shades. One is very close though. But yeah, I just have a limited amount of space. I will show the palette at some point. I do have some of these also in my Pan That palette, so that will help. Then another one that looks like a cross. I actually have an empty shade in here now. I will mark it as empty before I add the images in, so you will see that, but it doesn't affect it. It's just empty. So then again, the column has just 1 shade that just needs 6 more uses, and then the column will be done. And then I am actually working on the other 3 in the row that need to have their usage goal hit. Then for this palette, this one looks really weird, but it has 2 shades in a column, which are the 2 ones that I'm working on. I actually have one on today. It's like to blend out my liner. Those are just, in fact, I actually have the other one on. I have the other one on my lid. So yeah, I'm working on both of those, and then we will work on the bottom row when I have more space and capacity for more eyeshadows. Then this one, I also actually have one hit today, so I will fix that before I post it. So I actually only have 1 shade left now on that column to hit before I hit my goal. So that's very exciting. It is another one with 0 uses though. This is what happens when, like, I didn't place them strategically or anything, I just did it by colour, so yeah. And then I have so I only have 2 left to be working on in that row, in that column even. So I think this one's going to be the quickest one. This one actually already has 1 completed column. I think it might be the only one that does. There is a physical palette that does, but I think this is the only one that has a completed column already. Then for my last one, the column, I have 2 shades that I am working on and that need to be worked on. We're very close to that one. And then I'm working on 1 shade from the row, or I guess 2 because, you know, it's in the row. So I'm working on 3 shades altogether, and in total there are 6 shades that need goals hit. So hopefully that will happen soon, but I have worn a lot of purple, so I'm slightly burnt out on the purples, but that's fine. I will show you the palettes. I can also put the photo up with the uses. As you can see, this one is now missing because I did hit the goal today. So this is what the palette looks like. So this is a grayscale, like I said. I'm not going to go through them all just because it's a lot, but you can probably spot them in the palettes, and then I will put up the photo now of all of the uses so you can have a look. So these are what I'm currently working on. I'm not gonna roll in a new one because of that one. I'm just gonna kind of wait until they're like pretty empty, like until the palette gets like empty, and then I will add in new shades, just because I don't want to overwhelm myself, because I do have a whole Pan That palette that is, you know, this big and already a mess even though I cleaned it yesterday. But yeah, so, which I do actually have a finished shade in, so I don't want to, and also my palette, so I don't want to add too many in, but I am working towards it, and I will give you a update next month. And I actually have started a palette with that shade, so I can show you all the shades I've hit 10 uses on in the month, because I don't actually know how many I did for January and February. It was a fair few, but I don't know them specifically, so I have done that so I can show it in the update. So I will see you in that next update. Bye.